The opposition National Democratic Congress in a month's time will be holding the internal elections to decide which individuals lead the party as national officers. That will not be the only contest. There will be another to decide who leads the party as flag bearer. Political communications analyst Dr. Eche Sikanku has put together a book that essentially analyzes the factors likely to influence the contest and why it's important to the nation as a whole. Dr. Sikanku argues that it offers electorates an up-close view of individuals who are not too far from the door of power, which may well open up for them to shape the future of this country. He joins me in the studio. So let me just start quickly, because we've run out of time, unfortunately, for you to give us the highlight of this book. Why is it a compelling piece of property to own?
Thank you very much, Gifty. For several reasons. As they call it, the first draft of history. I think this is one of such kind of writing that critically, comprehensively assesses a developing political story. And so, I mean, we've seen them do a lot of that in the U.S. There's even a book on the Trump administration right now, even though the administration is not yet over.
As for Trump, there are so many books.
Yes, but we've not had that culture in Ghana.
In Ghana.
Yes, so first of all, the reason why it's compelling is that this becomes the first draft of history on a developing political story. Okay. Second, as well, it offers some kind of in-depth analysis on the candidates, and I think that's where the meat of it is.
The NDC candidates.
Yeah, yes,
so why is it only NDC candidates?
Very good question.
You're writing another one for the NPP?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because at this point, we know that the NPP has a certain president, and so each of the parties have a calendar, right? Okay. So a lot of the times when the parties in opposition, you realize that they tend to elect their flag bearers 2 years before time. So it's principally an issue of structure and what do you call it? Yeah, an issue of structure and not my own biases towards the research.
So you're just following the structure.
Yes.
Tell us what's in the, highlights of what's in the book. Who are these people you have lined up in the book? What do you say about them? What are appetites, so we could go after them?
Right, okay, so the book is divided into 4 different sections, right? The first section, I talk about the candidate permutations. I think that's the hot stuff. So I take each candidate and then I talk about, first of all, where the candidate stands in the race, right? Okay. And secondly, I talk about what he must do to win. And then, so I think that's where the meat of it is. So I take John Mahama, for instance, and then I say a bit about where John Mahama's standing is in the race right now. And then I talk about his chances.
What he has to do to win.
Yes. So
what
his
does
chances,
he have to do to win?
Wait, his chance. Hold on. His chances. So for instance, if you take someone like John Mahama, he occupies what I will call the establishment lane in the party, which means that most of the establishments are behind him, the MPs, his appointees, and all of that.
But in an era of anti-establishment, anything can happen.
Thank you. Very good. Right? So what he needs to do then is to make sure that he appeals to the grassroots. And when the NDC Kwesiboche report came, one of the big things was that there was a lot of conflagration and a lot of antipathy, among the party grassroots, especially their base, the Volta. You compare the statistics from 2008, 2012, 2016, and you see a precipitous decline in the turnout for the NDC in the Volta region. And that antipathy was really, really strong. They stayed back home because they wanted to vote with their feet.
So one of the key things you address in the book is what John Mahama, for example, should do if he wants to win. Do you mention Kwesiboche, Professor Kwesiboche in there? Because we're not quite sure where he stands. So I mean, do you have anything on him like that?
Yeah, I have a whole doozy on Kwesiboche.
On him?
Yes, his pro and the con. I'm just waiting. If he declares, I'll release it. So.
So you haven't released it. Actually, you don't have him as part of the list of your.
Yeah, because of course he's not come out.
So apart from John Mahama, who else?
So there's Dr. Kospio Gabra, right? Who some people think will be the anti-Mahama candidate, the alternative, the most plausible person if Mahama doesn't go through. So there's this echo, right? But then the question is the NDC ready to go for a fresh face? And I do some research actually, and we realize that, well, you need to buy the book to see the evidence of that research, but you realize that there's still some bit of support for John Mahama. And if any of the other candidates wants to overthrow him, then they really need to do a bit more to edge for change within the party.
I've run out of time, unfortunately, but this is, I'm really interested in this political dynamics of the NDC, and I really want to hear what you've written about the NPP as well. But let's talk about the launch quickly, so because we have to make way for sports at this point.
Well, so it's tomorrow
Okay.
at the Ghana International Press Center, and I really want to do something innovative.
Okay.
And so I've put together what I call a high-class blockbuster panel, to discuss the issue.
So you have a panel that's going to discuss the book.
Thank you.
And then you launch it.
Yes, because
Oh, wow.
I don't want the focus to be on me. I want the focus to be on the issues.
On the book.
Yes, yes,
If
yes.
it's politics in Ghana, trust me, the focus will be on the politics. The focus will not be on you at all. I mean, they'll finish discussing it before they start looking for who wrote it. So don't worry.
I'll be happy,
You'll
because
happy
we need to
know
build
that.
our democracy and the
Certainly.
processes.
Certainly,
Yeah.
certainly. This is a very interesting political discussion. Dr. H.S. Ikanku here. You want to be there at the press center tomorrow. Hear a lot of politics, because in November and December it's going to be a heated political atmosphere here in this country. Thank you so much for coming.
It's good to
And it's good to be with you always. And I look forward to that launch. Hopefully we'll hear more about political strategy.